or not. Wow. Thank you, YouTube, for once again creating a whole new method or pathway to doing this stuff. I changed the live stream, added a preview button, and it came up, but it told me that my camera wasn't rotating in the proper position, which is the horizontal orientation instead of vertical. But I changed it to horizontal beginning. I'm sure of that. It was the first thing I did. Anyway, I had to cancel it. Now I'm here all by my lonesome. Not that anybody found that other stream, but welcome anybody that shows up. So, anybody going to show up? We get anybody here? We'll see what happens. I'll do my best to try to read the chat today so I don't offend anybody. I don't want to hurt anyone's thoughts about what's going on here. So got to be careful. 2 people showed up and I got 1 like. That's 50%. Thank you. Who was that? Somebody. Renee and Jemblick, welcome. Andres Miller. Okay, people. Wow, 50 people, man. Hey, guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the program. Chris, live in Central Pennsylvania for your daily dose, your daily injection, your inoculation, your protection against disinformation, misinformation, hyperbole, propaganda, and just outright lies. First time here. Who is that first time here? Wow, Judy DeLong, welcome. First time here. What brought you here, Judy? Good to see you there again. And is it Yuri Ostoisen? Welcome to you. All right, good. I had knew somebody in the army named Yuri. I'd never heard that name before, but I guess it's a Dutch name. And so she was Dutch girl of Dutch extract. Anyway, ceasefire. What ceasefire, ladies and gentlemen? There's no ceasefire. The Iranians have never upheld the ceasefire, and they comically accuse the United States of violating the ceasefire. That's utter nonsense. It's pure poppycock. It's balderdash. It's nothing but nonsense. Are you guys hearing me? And somebody give me a thumbs up on the audio if you don't mind. Oh, Marie, what's going on? Yeah, so the Iranians are saying that Lebanon is part of the conflict, and basically the Europeans are trying to pressure Lebanon to Israel to stop attacking Lebanon. But yeah, thank you very much, Arc Precision. Yeah, that's not part of the ceasefire. You cannot constrain the Israelis from self-defense. Hezbollah attacked them; they're attacking Hezbollah, and they should not be subjected to the murder of their citizens because of Iran. Iran has no dog in the fight. Despite their illicit support for a terrorist group located in Lebanon, they have no interest in this legitimately. So it cannot be part of the ceasefire. The Israelis can defend themselves at their own leisure. And the French and the Germans and Sir Keir Starmer should shut their mouths along with the EU. It's none of your damn business. Leave the Israelis to their own stuff. If Hezbollah would quit murdering Israeli citizens, then we wouldn't have this problem. All right. So yeah, that's the basis the Iranians are giving for their attack. But they never adhered to the ceasefire to begin with. The Israelis didn't attack Lebanon until the next day, and already the Iranians had already refused to open the strait, had fired missiles at Israel, and then attacked their neighbors long before Israel actually attacked Lebanon. This is a red herring about Lebanon. So, Neff says, don't worry about sensitivity. Well, not all are hate wankers. Some people just are emotionally stunted. They get upset about things they shouldn't get upset about. Anyway, so thank you. Yeah. Welcome, Judy. Chris will play the White Army March this song. Well, not now. I can't play it now. What is the idea of a ceasefire? Well, the idea is that both sides stop shooting while they can negotiate, stop killing each other while they negotiate an end to the conflict. That's the purpose of a ceasefire. Or sometimes a ceasefire is to exchange casualties and dead on a battlefield. You'll get a ceasefire, a halt, and then you remove your wounded and you remove your dead. That's the purpose of it. So is my Springbok showing? There he is. There he is. Okay, so adjust that a little bit there, further back, and come back this way a little bit. There we go. Now you can see my Springbok. Okay, and I can see the screen better from here. Yep. Cool. Anyway, what's this morning EFF press conference? What a joke. I didn't see it, but I'm sure it was a joke. I mean, it's not a real party. It's a race hustling conspiracy group that's meant to undermine race relations in South Africa. That's what the EFF is. They're not legitimate. They're losing support. They're failing, and that's why they behave the way they do, because they're just losers. Anyway, so nice. Well, thank you. This is a Springbok one. There you go. So I like it because of this pocket right here. I can put my mobile phone. It just fits in here, even with the cover on it. It's a nice pocket. You can put your money in there. That way, when they try to rob you, you got a better defense. Give them a little jab, right, and come with that left roundhouse. I'm left-handed, so it works out really well. Anyway. Anyway, eating pork. I hope this doesn't offend anyone. Yes, well, apparently I'm making videos on Thursday, the day before Good Friday, and publishing them on Friday, Good Friday, and apparently that offends some Christians. Twat in Holland, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if they designed it just for that, but it's a great way to keep your valuables away from the thieves who can't get to your pockets down there. And Student just gave a 35 Rand super chat. Thank you for that. It's very kind of you. But ceasefire, there's no ceasefire. The United States has been rather restrained. We have not attacked Iran. Thanks to you, Colonel. Admins and moderators just got first contact. Well, congratulations, Peter DeLong. Wow, that's fantastic for you. Again, folks, I'm not here promoting people to leave South Africa. It's a tragedy for anyone to have to leave their homeland. But I am here to give the truth. I was contacted by a major news agency a couple days ago asking for where I get my information from or how I come up with my analysis of refugees. And I informed this major news organization that, well, I get it from the U.S. government. It's publicly available, which kind of caught them off guard. They thought I had like some kind of source that was like, feeding me information so I could, See, the problem is that I'm using my intellect and my talent to give you information, analyze it, and tell you what it means. I don't simply parrot what some government official gives me. Sometimes I have sources within the government who share information with me, which I use, but I'm not simply a talking head. I'm actually a person who does analysis. And I think that the media organization was a little surprised by that. They said, "Oh, we didn't realize you're getting this from a government, you're getting from public sources." I said, "Yeah." I just add my analysis to it and explain to people the impact of it and the significance of it. They also asked if and I'm going to put this out to my viewers, if you're a refugee in America who's resettled, not aspirants, because I don't want to put you in danger, but if you're a refugee who's arrived in America and you don't mind telling me where you came from, and we have a preponderance of places, or maybe even you might even be willing to let this media outlet go to your former property if you owned a farm or something like that, and let them see what's going on now. It's a French press agency, Agence France Presse, AFP, and they say they want to do an objective story. I'll take them at their word, but I've been burned by CNN and by Media 24 who lied. But other media outlets, like the New York Times, didn't lie to me. They were honest. And so, and Queer wasn't dishonest. So, if you want to share, send me an email and let me know that if you're willing, if you're already in the States, okay? Yeah, so what is this? Your source is you taking time and doing homework about what's going on, Colonel. Make sure you have your facts right. Yeah, I do. Now, along those lines, with 204 people here, I'm going to announce this today, okay? I said it on my night owls. I was dismayed at an email I received from one of my viewers who claimed to be one of my greatest fans. I don't know if I like the word fan, but it's okay. It's short for fanatic, so I'm not a sports figure, but maybe one of my favorite viewers, or maybe I'm one of his favorite content creators. But he said he'd been watching me for over 2 years, and he said, farewell. He said, my soul has been corrupted by the trolls. And he took offense to something I said and disagreed with me. What he disagreed with me about is I've talked about the cap. Now, I want everybody to listen very carefully about what I'm going to say. I'm going to detail this a little more than I have in the past because of this issue. So he took offense and he said he's not coming back to the channel. Well, that's unfortunate, but he did write to me last night and I think sort of gave an apology, and maybe he's still here. So I think it was yesterday's broadcast or the day before, maybe it was yesterday, the topic of a cap came up. And I've talked about the cap, and I said, you don't need to worry about the cap. It's not real. Yes, it's in the law. It's required to produce that. But if an administration wants you to come here, you'll get here, okay? And I said, the cap doesn't matter. They've exceeded the cap before. And he was insistent that they have not exceeded the cap. And I said, no, you're wrong. He took offense to that. There's no reason to take offense. It wasn't directed him personally. It was directed at the statement, which was incorrect. So he sent me a long list of things last night in which he detailed how I was wrong. And on the surface, he's correct. I was wrong, except he's not correct, because all he did was reinforce my point. During the Biden administration, for instance, we took in 168,000 Afghans. That wasn't in the cap for refugees. We weren't allowed to take 168,000 Afghans. The total for that year was like 110 or 120,000 for that year, if I recall correctly, 2020. So Biden took in more refugees than we were allowed to just from Afghanistan alone. So I was correct, except that he's saying I'm incorrect. Well, technically, he's onto something, because they used a way to evade the law and then treat them as refugees. They brought them in on a humanitarian basis. But it doesn't matter. They're still refugees. They came here. They were allowed to work immediately. They were allowed to get social security numbers. They were allowed to apply for a green card for 12 months. They were treated as refugees when they got here. They may have been designated somebody else to get in the country. And then also we have the situation of 1.2 million TPS people in this country. Temporary protected status, 602,000 of them from Venezuela alone. Those people were illegitimately brought in this country essentially as refugees, but given the title temporary protected status, and then had the same protections and rights as a refugee. So, 6 of one, half dozen the other. We can quibble about this, but I wasn't wrong. I'm clarifying that now because people are going to quibble about this. The gentleman was correct, but I was also correct. And he wanted to be literal to the point. My bottom line is that if an administration wants you in this country, they'll get you here regardless of a refugee cap. Now, I hope everybody understood that. Regardless of the refugee cap, if they want people to come here, they will find a basis to do it. All right? So that was the purpose of that. And if you take offense to me, you know, refuting what you say in my stream, then send me an email. All right? Send me an email. Be an adult. And he did send me an email, and then we can discuss it and clarify. Definitely not our home. Okay. Never chat to CNN. Good evening. All right. What else we got here? The worst. Yep. They lie about everything. Yeah, well, they do lie. They lied to me, but I'm not surprised. All right. So I'm caught up on the chat now. All right. So thank you to 249 people currently here, and to the 118 of you who took the time to push the like button, and to the one super chat that came up. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Yeah. So my point with the cap is I wouldn't lose sleep over it. And besides, even if it is firm, and even if they don't, hey, thank you, Lord Scoy. Wow, good to see you again. 100 Rand, thank you. Even if they lock down the cap, we're already 70% of their 65% of the way through the year. We're in our 7th month of a 12-month fiscal year, which ends on 30 September. And then there'll be a new number for next year. So even if we have that cap, we're currently at 4,496 South Africans. So 45, 55, 65, 75, 3,005. You've got more than half of the cap left for this year in less than half a year. So at the current pace we're going, will we get there? We'll see. You're the only true and accurate source on bias, unfiltered, straight shooting. But always better than sugarcoat. Sometimes, yeah, the truth is hard. That's the problem. You know, what irritates me is people don't like hearing things. I mean, I didn't like hearing that someone in the Clinton administration kept all of us from getting promoted over their baseless claim about, thank you for the, Sam, for the 40 Rand, over the baseless claim about women and minorities not being promoted, when in fact more women and minorities promoted in the year that my promotion board met for cap than the previous 3 years running average. Yet for 7 months, I had to go without a promotion of $642 a month because of it. Not that I'm bitter about it, but I didn't like it, but that doesn't mean I threw my toys out of the pram and left the army because I was being treated by racists in the Clinton administration and denying me my promotion. No, I stuck around. You don't throw your toys out of the pram if you disagree with people, you know? Adults can disagree. Does one have... Does same one, what's this? Someone else have a problem with Super Chat. I'm trying to do it here, but doesn't. A lot of people are having trouble with Super Chats, El Marie. It's either your credit card or shadow banning or a combination of things. That's why I put up the PayPal. And so a lot of people have PayPal, so I appreciate that. Thank you so much for all you do. Spelling error in the title. Oh, it's a typo. Yeah, it's not a spelling error. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thanks, Beulah. I'm typing it's on a phone. I make mistakes. So, yeah, I often find out that I mistyped the letter. You know, you push in the keyboard on the phone, it doesn't go through because, you know, the touch phones. So, sorry about that. Thank you. But we've got an audience just the same, but I'll go fix it later on. Okay. I eat, sleep, and think about getting out of this country. It's crazy. Straight talks on no friendships. Exactly. We always used to ask our parents when taking a long journey, are we there yet? Yeah, that's right. Are we there yet? Well, that's what I always do. I get in the car. Are we there yet? I got to pee. Are we there yet? I'm hungry. Thank you, Louis, for the 70. Love your little Miss Know-It-All short. Well, yeah, it's a true story. One of my viewers last night said that. And it's so apropos to tell that story. I mean, it's, you know, I don't just do videos to piss people off. We do videos to share for entertainment, for knowledge, for adventure, for the news, for analysis, and the refugee stuff. We do it all. Okay. Phone keyboard sucks. Yep. If Chris offends you, you need to grow a pair. You're too soft. Well, thank you for that, Neil. I agree. Good to know what's truly happened around the world. Does anyone else have a problem with Supertramp? Supertramp, the band, I'm not a fan. They're okay. They had a couple good songs. Why is... Well, that's an odd question. That's a very odd question. Also, remember, folks, I've got the sun blaring down on me here. You can see it on my face shining off. I'm wearing reading glasses, which I'm not accustomed to. I've only been a few months now. So, and laugh. Yeah, and make songs, right? What about last night's song? That was pretty good. The one for people not to go. I like that one. I really enjoyed that one. So, yeah, we had a good one last night. And then, of course, Vanessa Blossom sent us a lovely song last night in honor of her daughter. It was pretty cool. So, yeah, apparently her daughter and her, I'm guessing, ex is over in the States already, but they're in different locations. Utopi's in California. Ooh, $20. Why did it take... Oh, no, that's not... Oh, 70. Yako Schultz, thank you for the 70 Rand. Sorry. Should I be fun every time you refer to toothless car cards? Exactly. Exactly, 1440. And Martin says, I'm hot full of negative people. We're alive and blessed. We're alive with hope. Thank you so much for that, Martin. 35 Rand. I appreciate it. I agree with you. Life is a precious gift, folks. Yeah, the song made you cry. I'm sorry, Jaretha, but not my song, but her song. Get off my lawn. Yeah. Yeah. No flags, no biltong. Get off my lawn. No flags, no biltong. No sorries, no song. Yeah, that's a great one, yep. Yeah, no, we try to keep people going. So people come and go, and that's their prerogative, and it's okay, but people shouldn't leave because they're offended. I mean, unless you attack me publicly, you're not going to get attacked. I mean, the messages I get in WhatsApp and the email messages I get where people are abusive towards me because they're not out of South Africa, I have no control over that. I'm not the U.S. government. I've done all I can to help you, and if you don't like it, then you bitch at the government. Don't bitch at me, and don't call me names. And if you don't agree with what I have to say, that's not a reason to be rude. But even then, I don't disclose who those people are. I mean, I never told you guys who the woman is that was abusive towards me from Utica. And the woman who has been very abusive towards me, who lives in her car in the Gardens route, I've never disclosed their names. I said it can make. Now we wait for confirmation. Okay. Your blood pressure. Anna, that's a little high. Calm down. Calm down. And you can take medication to help with that. Pending due to medicals. Husband only see doctor on 6th of May. All they need is full medical report. Okay, well, good luck with that. Debbie Ackerman, I know your husband's had some medical issues. Okay. Breakfast in America, the Logical song. Well, that's a good one, Garrett. Maybe I can make that song. That'd be a good song to make. Okay, cool. Okay. Glad to see you're going on. Thank you very much. Well, no, I wasn't quitting. That's why it was a question mark. Chris Standard, thank you for 40 Rand. You're welcome, $1 million back. That was a question mark last night. I said, is this the last one? Should I continue? It wasn't a threat. I'm going to leave. I was asking people, what do you think about the live streams? Should I keep it going the way it is, where I let people chat? Should I make it a paying members only chat, live stream, or should I just turn the chat off? In the past, when so many people misbehave, I just turn the chat off for a period of time. Yeah. What's funny for me is that, people act, they act as if content creators are supposed to be, automatons. As if we're androids, as if we're not humans and have feelings and have needs, this isn't even a full-time affectation for me, what I'm doing here. It's just a part-time thing, yet I pour a lot of time into it. But then, the veterans thing's part-time too, but I wind up spending 30 hours a week there many times or more. People have bad days, people are sick, people are in a bad mood, people feel offended. And that includes content creators. It's people act as if we're not human and we don't get to have emotions. So I'm not saying that that I need to have emotions. My point is that I work when I'm sick. I work 7 days. Supertramp, someone loves them. I work 7 days a week doing this, and a lot of people just act like what the moment that they're there is the most important moment in history, and their feelings at that moment are the most important thing. And if you say something that doesn't comport with their world viewers or what they want to hear, well, then you're just an evil person. I'm leaving your channel. Well, that's kind of a stunted emotional development there. If they don't like your live or your info, they should just move on. Exactly, I agree. Well, Peter DeLong, not just those who are refugee aspirants, but I've been helping South Africans. I've been exposing the truth. I've been reporting on what's been going on. I've been analyzing things and getting things right about elections in South Africa, about the actions of political parties and about the behavior, disclosing the corruption, the land thefts have been going on for years. I've been doing all that. So I've been helping a lot of people, not just in South Africa, but around the world. I cover the Myanmar genocide, the Rohingya, the Chinese genocide of the Uyghurs. I've covered the Ethiopian military's war crimes against Tigrayan conscripts with summary executions. I've covered so many things to bring this to the world. We're very grateful for everything you do. Thank you, Eric. How's it going? Thank you for all you do. Thank you, El Marie Swart. Been battling my blood pressure too. At medical, it was too high, so I asked them to give me a few minutes to breathe deep slowly, and I asked for peace. It came down. Well, that's good. Dylan, you're very welcome. Dylan, I don't know what your status is, man. I think you were interested in the refugee program. I don't know. You have to answer it now, but I'm wondering what's going on with you. For me, watching your content makes me feel like the U.S. is closer to me. All right, that's cool, Trevor. I'm hospitalized. Oh, Anna, well, we didn't realize that. Because your blood pressure? Good Lord. 35 Rand from Dorothy. Hey, Colonel, we'll arrange a meet and greet in Las Cruces as soon as we are there. Okay, well, I had a refugee that went to Las Cruces recently, and he was at the airport in El Paso. So you apparently have to fly to El Paso to get to Las Cruces. And Carl's late. All right, you go to the back of the queue. Question for the softies, also lefties. Nah, people want truth but can't handle it. You know what, Pat Meister? You were 100% correct. People want to hear the truth until they hear it. Then they'll like it. It's not their truth. Yep. I mean, I didn't like what President Trump did with his Truth Social post on Sunday, on Easter Sunday. I thought it was crass, it was vile, it was inappropriate. But I'm not going to say he's evil and say he's wrong. I'm no Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm not some turncoat who doesn't get their way and throws their toys out of the pram. Enjoy the life the way it is, and we are very grateful for everything you're doing. Well, thank you for that, Yaku Schultz. Okay, they're helping you, Anna. That's good. There is sorry, Skuman with 350 Rand super chat. What's with the 350 Rand number? That's people seem to love that. Debbie Ackerman does that all the time. Thank you for 350 Rand. It's very kind of you. I appreciate that. Sally, 1440, Olaf, Carl Rasmus, Zandra Durant, I think it says. As I said before, it's all par for the course. Every YouTuber has the same trolls, negative comments. As long as you know who you are, ignore them. Yeah, well, I know who I am. I'm comfortable in my skin. Colonel Chris, Andre promised us a spit bry when we arrived in Texas. Well, that sounds good. Well, thank you for inviting me, but I was just there. Artemis capsule, going to re-enter, 39,000 kilometers. Yeah, 4 critical minutes, Garrett. Hopefully they come in safely. Stephanie Hudson, Michael, one of my favorite names. Thank you for being there. I don't even know what Stephanie looks like or anything about her, but I love that name. Truth you can't. It's right. You can't handle the truth. Exactly. Hey, Max. My opinion about the live streams is you do it at a time slot that suits you. You have a life as well. Yeah, cool. And Strong Boy, thank you for your membership. You are my news source. Well, thank you for that. Hermanus Johannes Elong. Testing, can't send super chat, something funny. Yeah, YouTube is acting up, Hermanus. It really is. It's in so many ways. I didn't know it was affecting YouTube, but somebody getting the super chats. Unfortunately, if your content was for members only, sir, it would deprive us many less fortunate from receiving valuable information. Jean-Bobby Jean, you were 100% correct, and that's why I've never done that. What I have done in the past is on occasion, I might make a video and make it members only for a day or two, for 2 days or so, to give them the first look at it as a benefit for paying members. But most of my paying members are doing it not for special content. They do it for the emojis and for the status, but also just to support the channel. They know that what I do costs me a great deal of money and time, and so they do it for that reason. I'm grateful for that. I don't lose members, paying members, because they're not getting paid content. I lose them because they were gifted memberships and they don't stick around, a lot of them. Attitude of gratitude, that's good. Okay, trust everyone is good. What happens when they decline your application? Can you apply again? Is it final? Okay, Tinka Cronier, that's a disturbing question. I hope it's not because you've received a letter of denial. When you receive a letter of denial, you have a right of reconsideration, a request for reconsideration, ROR, or RFR, request for reconsideration. But here's the thing, you have 30 days after you receive your letter, and by the way, you don't just get denied. If you think you just get denied and it's it, no, it doesn't work like that. They have to give you a letter. It's a legal document. They send you a letter saying, you've been denied consideration for refugee resettlement. And therefore you have the letter. The clock starts when that letter is sent. You have 30 days to respond. You may request for reconsideration. Professor G's also talked about this. He did a fine job on it. He's familiar with this because a lot of asylum cases are denied, so he knows about these requests. I'm not sure how it works for requests for the asylees, but for refugees, you have 30 days. But here's the thing. Your request for reconsideration goes back to the official who denied you. So normally it will only be considered if there's information that wasn't available to the adjudicator when they made the decision. Or if they have incorrect information, you have the correct information to correct the record. And then you can request that they reconsider you. You got 30 days. So yes, once that's done, that's it. If you're denied, you will not come here as a refugee. I hope that explains things. Cronier. Okay, Primavores here. By saying hi. Saw on Hendo's WhatsApp group another flight landed safely in the USA. Yeah, I'm sure they did. They all tell Hendo when they get here. Nobody tells me when they're here. No, gladly, not yet. We apply, but we've not received anything back. Okay, well, to my knowledge, and I have this from a U.S. government source, as of January 31st, which is now becoming dated, I'm going to ask the question again. As of January 31st, there were 0 denials of eligible cases. I mean, if you apply from Hong Kong, you're going to be denied, but you're not eligible. You're not in South Africa. If you are a member of the ANC, a black caterer who is a patronage puppy with millions of dollars in your bank account because of contracts, you're obviously not being racially discriminated against. You're not going to qualify. Therefore, you're ineligible. So they'll be denied. But there's been no denial based on someone not articulating their case as of January 31st. I need to try to get an update on it. I always believe that everyone has some good in them. Yeah, no, I'm seriously down here too, James, the way some people behave. Next Wednesday is my wife's psych evaluation, okay? Okay. It's now 1 year since we put her SIN. Bitter Ender, you have done the intake questionnaire, correct? Make sure you've done the intake questionnaire. Chris Wyatt, what's going on? It's sad to see people denied unless you're a criminal. Well, unfortunately, as I did a video and I was accused of speculating and being desperate for viewers and desperate for views and using clickbait, that's bullshit. I did a video because it's morally responsible to tell people there will be denials. I've said that all along, but I haven't made a video in a long time. And a lot of people are going on about whether they've been denied. And I said, the reality is that some people will be denied. Some people lie. They'll get caught in a lie. That means you're not going to come. Some people will exaggerate their case and it'll be proven that's not actually the case. You know, I mean, Johann Rupert is not coming as a refugee. He's not a victim of racial persecution. I'm just saying. So that was a morally responsible thing for me to do. And I was accused falsely of being desperate for clicks and, you know, and clickbait and for views. That's nonsense. Don't take as doing lightly. He might be a troll, but it's cost serious for others. Oh, I'm well aware of that, anonymous angel. I don't take it lightly. That's why I've consulted attorneys, and he is in very serious trouble. He's in very serious trouble. He is menacing. He is stalking. He is making threats. These are criminal actions in the Netherlands and in South Africa. Yep. When is the interview with October, November applicant? Tomorrow morning. I haven't posted yet because I didn't have his photo. That's why I became a member. In my small way, I can support your channel. Thank you for that, Ingrid. One day when I earn dollars. Okay, cool. Thank you. Hey, Heidi Kruger. Company I work for is threatening that they're going to take me to court for breaking my employment contract, resigning with immediate effect when we receive their tickets. Okay, Emerald City Refugee. You're in America, aren't you? Right? And you can't go back to South Africa, correct? Without the State Department's approval. So are they going to sue you in U.S. court? You resigned, right? You didn't just walk off the job. You don't have a right to resign? Well, what will happen in that case, they try to bring a lawsuit against you in America, it's probably not going to go anywhere because their extenuating circumstances would supersede the contract. You're a refugee, you've fled persecution. So screw them. Screw them. I don't know what company this is. That's rather childish of them. That's childish of them. Tom McDonald's New World Order video on Facebook. Okay, well, I've shared Tom McDonald in the past too. We get tickets after a clearance. Okay. Your invaluable input and support and care for Smith's son is really appreciated. Well, yep. Thank you. Nick Groves is back. When the cap was announced, you said it wasn't set in stone. It could change. Some people not only can't handle the truth, they don't listen to it. Yeah, exactly. No, but I'm being told the cap has never been exceeded. And I disputed that. And I said it has been exceeded. But I didn't explain that they use temporary protected status or humanitarian refuge. But they're refugees. They're treated as refugees and arrive here. So the gentleman was correct, but so was I. And there's a nuance to it. Anyway. They did not ask for my social media nor Facebook and pre-screens. Should I worry? No, you shouldn't worry about it, Red. They probably found it all on their own. So they probably found nothing they need to worry about there. If they found something and ask you about it, like the person who just said they found that they shared Tom McDonald's video, then that's something to be not concerned about, but be aware of. If they didn't ask you questions about your social media, then I'm sure it's fine. It's hard to read these, especially when the colors. So is there a question if you belong to ANC your application? I don't think so. People hear what they want to hear. Yep. Elmarie Swart gave 140 round. Thank you for that, Elmarie. Thank you for all you do. Not been around much, but always catch up. Okay, Elmarie, thank you. Okay. You're welcome, Emerald City. No, I mean, what are they going to do? First off, you don't have to go to South Africa for the trial. If there's a trial, they want to file a trial against you, they want to take a judge, go ahead. You're not allowed to go back to South Africa. What are you going to do? They can't hold you in contempt of court. You're not allowed to travel. Okay. My family is already there, and I'm in the process. What is the possibility of being placed close to them? Is your case linked? If your case is linked, Brendan Byers, if you got it linked when you got your interview, or they did it, they linked you to yours, then the odds are pretty good, but it's not 100%. Utopia's in San Diego, his daughter's in Kansas. They have linked cases. Somebody screwed up. But normally you'll wind up in the same town as the person who your case is linked to, normally. It will be Bryn and Bry, a whole sheep. Oh, no thanks to the sheep. Done interviews, he assist me, question is quiet for 5 weeks now. That's not very long, Miranda. Not very long. Soon my username will change to Carol Ann USA. Okay, excited, been waiting since May. All right, please drop me an interview. Cool. All right, well, next week, remember, I'm still with the War College. Speaking of which, I'm trying to catch up on the chat in case, and then I want to in case confirmed denial are all successful. Will denial affect other visa routes? No, it should have no impact whatsoever. unless your denial is for a legitimate reason that's either criminal related or it's you lied. Never lie to the U.S. government. Never lie to the U.S. government. That is not a good idea. That's why we have the Fifth Amendment. We've protected against self-incrimination. Were you at the Kapstadt Brauhaus on the 5th of June, 2023? At this point, I'd like to invoke my Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. I will not answer any questions without a lawyer present. Thank you. Yeah. Now, if you lie to an investigator, that could cost you any other visa you want. And it could affect other countries too. If you're caught lying to get into America on a refugee application, it's going to be shared with the Brits and the Germans and the Kiwis and the Aussies. Yeah. So don't lie, don't cheat, don't defraud. As long as that's not, if the reason for you not coming over is that you don't have genuine persecution, then it won't affect your visa. All right. Does that make sense? I hope that does make sense. Okay. So I mentioned the UCS, just leave it, let them mention it if they need it. Mention what, Red? I missed what you said. Do not receive a letter of approval, but on the portal says that you are approved and status says ready for departure. Can you then surely say that you're approved? No, I wouldn't say that, Mary. Don't make that assumption. Again, that stupid portal's for internal use and it causes consternation with people. In fact, in my view, it never should be shared with refugees because that status can go up and down. They have checks out and there may be a few checks out and they provisionally approved internal, or the last person who did an action pushed approved, and that's what shows up on the stoplight chart. But maybe there's 3 other actions out there and one comes in, there's an issue, and it's back in investigation, adjudication. So I would not get excited until you have tickets. Okay, that's when you get excited. Enjoyed your interview with Americans, friendly and professional. Good to hear there. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, that they're professional and friendly. I'm here. Brendan will be linked with me. Okay, then you should wind up in the same place. Why has this become a refugee conversation? I don't have any news. We covered the news already, but that's fine. Just this day's become all about refugees. I'm still trying to bribe ICE to get my hamster over. Oh my goodness, Nick and his hamster. Yeah, I'm starting to worry about Nick and hamsters. Awaiting partial pension fund payout. Okay. Twister. Where's the twister at, Alan? Lies have short legs. Unfortunately, they don't. They have long lives. Oh, Charles, stop it. That's inappropriate. Charles responding to Nick Rhodes and his hamster. That's inappropriate. 23 degrees. I want to thank you for getting me hooked on a new hobby. Played with Suno today. Was able to make music I enjoy, which has gone out of fashion. Well, that's good to hear, Pat Meister. Cool. Thought that hamster was eaten by a cat. Okay. We said, "Hey, Doug." It's David. Welcome, David Potgieter. Okay. Brits cancel work visa for nothing yet except rubber ducks across the channel. Yeah. And Charles says, funny. Some more blue bulls arriving today. What if a person is disabled and could not satisfy the age expectation regarding persecution? I don't see how that's possible. Disability has nothing to do with it, G9. Disability has nothing to do with whether you convince someone. You convince someone on the merits of your case. But again, I mean, if I'm an investigator or adjudicator for South Africa, I don't really need you to prove anything to me. I know South Africa. I know there are 145 laws that are race-based that deny South Africans from equal opportunity under the law. You are not treated equally under the law. That is called persecution. And it's done on the basis of your race, of your skin color. Therefore, it's unjust. Case closed. Any white South African who can't get a job, who can't get a burst at university, who has lost their job, who despite being incredibly talented has been denied promotion year after year while incompetent, uneducated twits get promoted above them. That's all I need to hear. So I don't need to hear any more. Dave says, thank you all you've done for us. All the patience, as you advised, has paid off. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Dave. I'm glad to hear that. You know, a lot of people now are coming around to saying that. A lot of people have been stuck in their mind because they've gone nowhere from February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. A lot of those people now have made progress and have been arriving in the States ever since they restarted the program on the 9th of March. And a lot of people are now coming back and saying, you were right, Colonel Wyatt, you were right. It just takes time. We have to be patient. We have to trust the process. To use Lely's phrase, you have to trust the process. Yep. Yeah. Charles has stage 3 cancer, but he's not been denied access to the program. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're disabled, if you're mentally incompetent, if you're autistic. It doesn't matter. There was a line of protesters holding signs lining the street throughout the ambassador's credentials. So I had to go home. Yeah, I don't know if passport has not been issued yet, but you submit application and your content helps so much to get clarity. Thank you. You're welcome. Yep, I'm going through that at the moment. Recently employed and apply for 100 odd jobs, and every chance you get with the same one. Sorry, but we don't fit the profile. And there's your justification right there, Neff. That's the only justification you need. As an adjudicator, that is racial persecution, and you're on your way to the States, as long as you're not a criminal. Cultural orientation tomorrow, but I haven't received my approval letter yet. You won't get your approval letter yet. No, cultural orientation doesn't mean you're going to be approved. You probably will be, but it doesn't mean you are. Unless you have contagious disease, you come exactly. Only contagious disease. I always give the example of tuberculosis. If you have active tuberculosis, you're not coming over. Are you covering the Stormers? I think so, Garrett. I think so. Somebody's playing Friday. I won't be able to cover them because I'm working tomorrow during the day. But the Saturday games I'll be able to cover. But the Stormers aren't playing this weekend, are they? I don't think anybody's playing this weekend. Because it's still the Champions Cup, isn't it? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm getting my weekends mixed up. But yeah, if they're playing, I'll cover them. My case is not updated. Exactly. Well, Mad Max came over and he still said his case was open. Okay? Trust the process. Hey, Vanessa. Sitting in his passport. Good evening, Peter Pumpkin Eater. No, I talked about ceasefire at the beginning. Just watch the first 5 or 10 minutes. Denied by my denial syndrome. Okay, that's funny. Can you tell me how I can do that? You see, how you can do? Oh, do what? America, that your news is the only source I trust. Turns out she is also a follower. Are you serious? Well, if you work for USCIS and you're a follower of my channel, thank you so much. Please get your bosses, get things in order. People are frustrated. I've defended USCIS a lot, not RSC so much, but I have defended in the past. Whole day of the interview, it's my birthday. Happy birthday, Pistons, but I don't have the cake here. Applied at the beginning, only got our passport 2 weeks ago. We'll slow things down, but it doesn't exclude. Yep. I didn't hear the full content, but ECR News said we were talking about the almost DA refugees. Let me tell you something. Most of the refugees who've come to America are not Democratic Alliance members. Some were, but most weren't. Most weren't. That's what the news is saying in South Africa. That's funny. Let me know. Come back and tell me about that. Okay. I'm in my 70s. It has many years to investigate. Well, bitter ender, that's the problem for me, buddy. That's the problem for me. When I started my career with my top secret clearance, it took a few hours to fill out the form. It took them less than 6 months of the investigation because I had no life. I hadn't been anywhere. I hadn't done anything. But as I got older, countries I visited, an intelligence officer, interacting with foreign intelligence service, I got asked in a polygraph, have you ever had contact with a foreign intelligence service? And I said, yes. And the polygrapher's eyes went. He paused for a second, then he had questions he's prepared to ask me. He started asking me questions. Have you ever given classified information to a foreign national? Yes. Why did I do it? Because it was my job. So then he comes back, have you ever given information that had not been deemed releasable by a foreign disclosure officer to a foreign government? To which I said no. And they all come down. But my point is that my first polygraph was like 26 minutes, 28 minutes maybe. But my last polygraph went on for a few hours because I have life experiences and they have to investigate it. It gets more difficult as you get older. Stay away from it. Yep. All right. So here's what I want to talk about. I finally got through the chat. Second interview on the 17th of Pretoria. So this is what I want to get through. Okay. So 2 trips coming up to visit refugees. Okay. So here you go. Yeah, not this weekend, but the following weekend, the 18, 19, and 20, 21 probably. I will be traveling to Pittsburgh. If the Oosthuizens are here, I'm coming to see you. And maybe Kim and her parents if they're around. I don't know if that's possible. And that will be in Friday evening next week. I'll be finishing the War College in mid-afternoon. I'll be in my car, I'll be packed, and I'll hop in the car and I'll drive 3 hours to Pittsburgh. And I'll pay half the toll because I've got that stupid easy pass for my car now. And then I'll stay overnight Friday night in the Pittsburgh area. Saturday morning, I will drive to my sister in Central Ohio, visit my sister, assuming she's there. I'm still waiting to hear back from her. Then I will go to Columbus to meet with refugees. We have to arrange that. So if you're a refugee in Columbus, please write to me. If you've got a refugee group for Columbus, Ohio, please let me know about it. Please get me involved in that so we can put something together for people in Columbus. That will be Saturday night. The plan will be probably to stay in Columbus Saturday night And then Sunday, I will drive to Cleveland. I will go up there. I'm going to go to a baseball game with Alex, and I will have a Sunday evening event with refugees in the Cleveland area. Monday, my plan is to drive to Erie, Pennsylvania, where I will see Botman, and we'll check in on him. All right, that is this coming weekend, not this weekend, but the next weekend. The following weekend, I will be traveling to Virginia. I'll be going down to Six Flags, just north of Richmond, for the Braai and Potjie Fest that the South Africans in the United States hold. I understand that a generous South African living in America donated 40 or 45 tickets so that refugees could come to the Saturday event. Those tickets are like $45 a piece, folks. That's a lot of money. Put out about $1,000 to get those people to come to the event. I will also be there on the Saturday. I'll probably be there on part of Friday as well after I drive down. And then on Sunday, I'll be in Richmond visiting refugees. And then if there are refugees in Charlottesville, I'll consider driving west to Charlottesville and then take the long trip back up the Shenandoah Valley to Pennsylvania. So 2 trips coming up. I don't know if you guys are in those places and you want to meet up. I need you to send me an email so I get a feel for how many people I'm going to see there. I also need somebody to be the organizer. For Richmond, the organizer will be Mad Max. I haven't got an organizer for Columbus, and I haven't got an organizer for Cleveland or for Erie. So I need someone that can get people together. In Dallas, I had an organizer that was brought together for me based on my contact with John B. Wells and his wife Brendy, and we got it all set up in a wonderful place we went to. So I need that help with that, okay? All right. Red says no contact. No contact with what, Red? Yeah, the chat's as busy as the Colonel. Brockenfels, that's not northern suburbs. Brockenfels is the eastern suburbs. Woodbridge Island and Parklands, that's the northern, and Blobergstrand. Brockenfell is not a northern suburb. Brockenfell is east of Cape Town. Somebody needs to work on there. So they plan the 18th. Yeah, I'm going to probably miss that, Garrett, because that's when I'm going to be meeting with people. It depends on what the schedule looks like. Will they send you an email with a new date for your interview in terms of reschedule? They're supposed to, Big Fish, but they don't always get everything right. For instance, RSC never told the family in Port Elizabeth that they were flying on a certain date. And 4 hours before the flight, they called the family and said, we need you at the airport. And they're like, where? In Cape Town. You do realize we're 10 hours drive away from there. They didn't. And so they missed their flight because they were never aware of it, which is just sucky. There's a truck with Texas on it. The Texas edition, a Chevy Silverado. There he goes. It's the back end of it. It's a Texas edition. He's got Texas license plates, which is not a surprise. We have plenty of people in the military that have been stationed in Texas. It's my first email to confirm that they didn't confirm. Since then, it's not scary. It's annoying, I'm sure, but don't be scared. Positive with regards to CWS, they help us reschedule our first interview and it's the same day. Well, that's unusual. I'm glad to hear that, God's girl. Okay. There was a Lana Wyatt actress. I'm not aware of that. Jane Wyatt was an actress. Oh, no, Jane Wyman, excuse me. What's her name? The one that was on, Sharon Wyatt was on General Hospital, distant relation. And there's some other famous Wyatts out there. The one Wyatt that used to bang Sarah Ferguson back in the day. Remember that? She was sleeping around. She was sleeping with a guy named Steve Wyatt from Texas. Yeah, and I hope someone didn't take offense because they said northern suburbs. That was so Cali. Yeah. If all goes well, I will be building beach buggies when I get to the States. I promise you a test drive. When you were in Cape Town last year. Oh, we didn't do that though. Got my job too. It was one of 2. Yeah, Charles, who was working with the guy. Unfortunately, got to go. All right, says Tony Pretorius. Well, all right, Tony, have a good day. Sorry to see you go. Thanks for being here. All right. Thanks for playing on Jeopardy. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. All right, cool. Person can go through with stage 3 cancer. Why would they put our case on pending medicals due to my husband and large heart? Okay, well, why? Because they probably need a clear medical determination. A large heart could lead to a cardiac arrest, particularly at altitude, particularly on a plane, a 17-hour flight. They have to evaluate that. Stage 3 cancer, a person, unless they're at stage 4, is not going to just drop off and die. I mean, so I mean, you can't compare the two. And a large heart could be a very serious issue. A person could die on a flight. They have to look at that. This call from Kenyans. Okay, tried to call back. Anybody's to contact? There's no way to contact. You just had to wait for them to call again, David. This is a problem early on. All these people like, I'm not taking that call. It's from Kenya. Well, great. You're never going to get heard. How do I know this call is good? Well, because they sent you an email. They told you what numbers they're calling from. Keep the list near you. You see the phone number come up. Okay, boom, 5. That's one of the numbers. You guys got to keep your phones near you. Yeah, I'm still doing the night owl stream. Why do you ask the question? Because of last night's title? That, by the way, that live stream applied to every live stream, not just night owls. Quest going for an interview in Cape Town. Yeah, they may. They're still doing interviews in Cape Town as far as I know. Yeah, age doesn't matter. Well, I've said that all along. I can't believe people are still asking these questions. I've said this forever. I said age doesn't matter. Whether you're 8 or 88, it doesn't matter. Whether you have cancer or you're cancer-free. Whether you have no legs or you have all your limbs. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. What matters is that you qualify. I mean, we bring so many unproductive people to this country from other countries because we're providing refuge. Not because they're going to be tax-paying citizens. That's not what the refugee program is about. Oh, but Colonel Wyatt, I have 3 degrees and I can do this and I can. That's wonderful. Hopefully you get yourself a very well-paying job and you'll be in great shape in America and you'll succeed. But that's not the basis you come here. Yeah, but I've got tons of money. So what? Lots of people have tons of money. It doesn't make them eligible. You have to be eligible. It doesn't matter. Okay, well, we're not talking about Israel, Manfred. Are you here to troll? Are you here to troll? What treaty is Israel not respected? Please tell me what treaty. You're going to make a statement like that and interrupt my conversation with trolling. What treaty? There's no treaty here. There's no treaty with Lebanon, and there's a ceasefire is not a treaty, and Israel wasn't party to it. So don't come in here and troll. 13 years, 37 years old. Can I come teach? No, you cannot. Yes, you can. You can come here, but you're going to have to qualify to teach. Your credentials are going to be useless in America. Your experience will be invaluable. What you need to do is get certified to teach in the state you want to teach. That's why I'm not a teacher in high school, because it's ridiculous the qualifications you have to have. You have to go to school. I would have had to spend 18 more months at university to be qualified to teach, taking stupid sociology classes and counseling classes, all this other nonsense I don't need to teach. But the state required it in Ohio. So I chose not to become certified to be a teacher because I was going back in the Army. But yes, you can teach here, but you have to get certification in the state where you're going to teach at. Every state's different. He said Israel. He said Israel does not abide by treaties. They never abide by any treaty they ever signed. Did he mean Iran? Or did I misunderstand that? I read Israel. Am I wrong here? No, he said Israel. Eddie or Edie said, no, it's Eddie said Israel never respects any treaty. What treaty did they not respect? What's a difficult process? I didn't misread that. He said Israel, so explain yourself. You're going to pop in and talk about Israel. You know, the ceasefire portion of this conversation was a long time ago. If you want to bring that topic up, we can do it. But you can't just throw something out there without any support. What treaty are you talking about? There's no treaty here. There's no treaty. It's a ceasefire. And Israel was not considered. They weren't part of the negotiations. Oh, you saw my interview on business. I haven't seen it. Brockenfell is north on the other side of... Brockenfell is not north. Brockenfell is east of the town. It's just below the motorway. That's not north. Parklands is north. Milnerton is north. Woodbridge Island is north. Am I getting something wrong here? Hey, Flesher, what's going on, man? Brockenfell. I'm go or wrong. I think you mean I'm wrong. All right. Well, we'll have to. I don't have another phone to pull it up on a map here. Why is it I take the road east out of town to get to Brockenfell? I don't go north to get to Brockenfell. I head towards Parle, which is east of Cape Town. Yes, the first time. Oh, I can't wait to show this on a map. That highway doesn't go north. Ah, Carlos Odin Viking says northern suburbs. Thank you. Thank you. That is different than saying it's to the north. It's not to the north. It may be considered a northern suburb because it's at a certain point in Cape Town. but the city of Cape Town continues above it slightly, and then the northern part. A northern suburb is different than saying it's north of town. I said it's not north of town. Thank you for that clarification, Speedy Gonzalez. Is that what Speedy Gonzalez? Colonel in Cape Town, technically correct. Or Cape Town is Refugee. Well, no, I am 100% correct, Daryl. I'm 100% correct. And people try to tell me I'm wrong. It's not north of Cape Town. It may be considered in the northern suburbs, particularly when you put it in relationship to Mitchell's Plains or to Khayelitsha, or even to a degree, maybe even Mondenberg, although they're almost the same level of latitude. I'm not wrong. You're using language to describe a place, the northern suburbs. You didn't say that. You said north of town. It's not north of town. I know my cardinal directions. I've been there. I've driven those roads many times. What about being a researcher? Well, of course you can be a researcher. Yep. You don't need qualifications for that. Belleville and Brockenberg are considered northern suburbs. Millerton, Table View is the Atlantic side. I didn't say they weren't at the Atlantic side, and I didn't say they weren't the northern suburbs either. I said that those places are north of Cape Town, and Brockenfell is east. Look at the map. Sandy's mom is 84th dimension. She's going through the program. That's 1440 said earlier. Can I immigrate to, say, Florida? Is that from there? You want to immigrate, Boerhart? That's not easy. Good luck. Yeah, you can immigrate, but you have to pass a threshold and have a reason to come here and a work permit. I mean, I'm not an expert in immigration. You need to talk to an immigration attorney or find someplace online. I don't know the process for immigrating to America. I do know the refugee process, though. Blocked through shadow banning, Vodka says. Okay, I'm sorry to hear that, but I can see your comment. Delaray, Sayadiboa, General, welcome to you. Thank you for 35 Rand. God willing, I've established HD shop there, a head shop. Cape Townians can't be trusted directions. Can immigrate? Why do you keep asking that same question, Boerhart? I've already answered it. Why do you ask Chris so many questions? Why don't you research on? No, they can ask questions. I'm happy to answer it. They're not magnetic north. Chris is the Colonel's walking GPS. Straight from the hip. Yep, exactly. Well done. You know more about South African geography than most South Africans. True. Cape Townians consider all towns along M1 as northern suburbs. Thank you for that, Heinrich Shavanga, and I don't dispute that. The question was, the statement was about Brockenfell being north of Cape Town. That was what the statement was. And I said it's not north of Cape Town, it's east of Cape Town, certainly of the east of the city center. That's where this all started. It's funny we're having this conversation. Only way for peace with Iran is regime change. I don't disagree with that. Don't want to come, I won't get a job as teacher with some coffee. Why? Okay, stop. Why won't you get a job as a teacher refugee? You don't seem to understand what a refugee is there. I'm not attacking you, Boerhart, but I want to know where that question is coming from. That's poppycock. Why would you not get a job as a teacher? Because you're a refugee. It has nothing to do with anything. Nothing. In fact, it's far easier to come to America and work as a refugee under the current program than it is to immigrate here. Far easier, if assuming you qualify. What do you mean you won't be able to teach as a refugee? That's nonsense. It's poppycock. If the Cable Mountains covered by clouds are lost. Francois Frere, I hope you're well. I'm okay, Francois. How you doing? Thank you for 35 Rand. If you come here as an immigrant and you're a qualified teacher, you're not qualified to teach here. You're not going to teach here. Now, if you have a master's degree or a PhD and you apply to teach university and they accept you, you don't need any qualifications for that. You've already got that academically, or a published author. But you want to teach school? You're not going to teach here. Nobody coming from South Africa is qualified to teach here unless the state accepts it. Yeah, I don't know where Boerhart's getting that nonsense from. Who told you that, man? Who told you that crap? Did you get that from News 24? We've been approved and undergone cultural orientation, medicals being in June, no feedback. No, there's nothing I can do to help you with that. You're not in a bind. You've got plenty of time. It's the first week of April. Your medicals don't expire for almost 2 months. You got time. Oh, you're asking. Don't know how it works. Oh, why won't you be qualified to teach here? Because every state has its own certification. You have to be certified to teach in a state. Like I said, Ohio required me to take psychology classes, sociology classes, counseling classes. Waste of my time. I don't need that crap. In order to teach anything in Ohio, you had to have that, whether it's primary school, secondary school, or junior high school. It didn't matter. Every state has its own qualifications. Now, military are in a really good position because we have something called troops to teachers. So if you want to become a teacher as you exit the military, many states have this program where they will accept you for certification, or they'll make you take 1 or 2 classes, something like that, to be qualified, and you go right into a teaching position. They help you find one. If you want to teach in America as a refugee, you can. Now, there might be a state that says you have to be a citizen, but I seriously doubt that. I don't think that's the case, or a green card holder. But it doesn't matter. The day you arrive in America as a refugee, you are legally allowed to work. All you have to do is find a job. Now, you also have to have a Social Security number and an EAD, but you can look for work right away. Okay, so there you go. So I don't know. So, okay, no one told you that then, Burhart. You made an assumption. Your assumption's incorrect. Okay, the correct story is you can work as a teacher in America. Who cares for Rockefeller? Joe Emilio cares. He lives there. I was not asked anything about my background. I've said nothing. Even months before I had sent off. Okay, I don't know what you're getting at, Spartan God. To teach, you need to get certified through the state you're in and write their exams. You need to learn their subject content. Spot on. Well said, Robert Gerber. Okay, Unc, I'm not being funny. It's a legit question because it would be a dream to move to America, currently in the U.S. with my family. Well, okay, well, first off, Burhart, we got to stop right there. You cannot come to America as a refugee from the UAE. If you want to come under this program, then you have to go to South Africa and apply from South Africa. You must be in South Africa to come here as a refugee. So if you're in UAE, then this is not a dream that will be fulfilled for you, Burhart. If you want to immigrate here, that's a whole different story. I'm not an expert in immigration. I'm not here prophesizing to get people come to this country. So, all right, Burhart, I appreciate where you're coming from that. But yeah, if you want to come to the refugee program, and we have people who've done that. We've also had people who went to Ireland who were denied asylum, went back to South Africa on my advice, not to them personally, but they're watching my program, and now are living in America as refugees after being denied asylum in Ireland. Ireland is a racist country full of woke retards who are destroying Ireland, who've turned it into a cesspool of third world scum. Yeah, try walking the streets of Dublin. It's disgusting. Or Galway. Yeah, they've ruined that country. Thank you for everything you do. You are knowledgeable and patient and always talk to us. Well, thank you. It's very amazing you to say that, Samantha. I appreciate that. A few refugee ladies are already working as substitute teachers here by us as a start. There you go. In Colorado, we've already got refugees working as substitute teachers, just like that. But he can't, each state has different requirements. He can't do it from UAE. Thanks. I would do some more research. Okay, Burhart, that's fine. Do the research on the refugee. Don't feel free to come back. I hope you stick here. Thanks for becoming a subscriber. Appreciate it. Cape Town, and most of the time I see bad drivers, the GP plates. I'll tell you. Oh, you already know that. Okay, Burhart. Yeah, I'm behind in the chat, so I'm catching up now. You already know that you can't do that. Okay, cool. Okay. It seems you do not know anything about me, even though they did a long background check. What do you mean by that? Why are you saying that? Because they asked you questions? No, they're looking for you to see if you're lying, probably. The teachers get well paid. It depends on where you're at. It depends what you consider well paid. For me, well paid is north of $120,000 a year. That's what I consider well paid. That's a comfortable life in most of the country. Teachers, depends on the state, but they typically make 50, 60,000 or more starting out in most states. But there's exceptions to that. Some of the southern states pay less. Oh, that Texas truck is back, the Texas edition. Oh no, that's a Pennsylvania truck. It looked the same one truck, but it wasn't the Texas edition. Yeah, so you have to look at the state and you have to look at the school district. And that's how it works, okay? People badmouth Trump, but no president before him dealt with Iran. Yep. Adrian, 35 Rand, thank you for that. You would fit right in with the NCOs. Wish you could tell my brother about Ireland. Well, I'm happy to tell your brother about Ireland. Tell him to watch my program. I'll tell him. You know, I have people in Ireland who are South Africans who apply for asylum. And if they're white, I told them, leave. Go back to South Africa. You will not get asylum in Ireland. And you see what they're doing. They're deporting people. Once you're deported, that's a black stain. You have a deportation. That could prevent you from becoming a refugee if you get deported from Ireland. It isn't necessarily going to happen, but if you get deported from a country, that doesn't look good. That doesn't look good if you're trying to apply for refugee status. Doesn't mean it's going to stop you, though. Borhart's been following me for a few years. Well, thank you, Borhart. I didn't realize that. I thought it looked vaguely familiar, the username. Do you not have to get USA credit for most professions? No. No, Rehab Bunny. No. We're not a central control. There's not central authority in this country. Your certification in career fields as electricians, as HVAC technicians, as teachers, as plumbers, as lawyers, passing the bar is done at state level around the country. There are some universal certifications people can get, but you have to be licensed in the state you're in for things that require licenses. Yep. All right. Killing my dream to teach in America. Only qualification I have, I wouldn't be able to do anything else. Well, that's nonsense. That's nonsense. I taught university. I'm doing lots of other things. You can do other things. If you've got skills, you have reasonable thinking skills, and you can communicate and do tons of things. Did the refugee interview with the family from Ireland. I did do a refugee interview with family from Ireland. A Red Seal tradesman demand. I don't even know what that is. Is that a pipe fitter? Pipe fitters are in demand in the United States. Absolutely. All the trades are in demand here. Act like a crazy person, they'll give you insane asylum. Subteachers in rural Tennessee make $50 a day. Well, that's not so much, but it sounds like a lot to South Africans, but $50 a day. I make that in less than an hour when I do consulting. Less than an hour, I make $50. No, I don't think the MK party. Hey, Brett, what's going on? Brett Sessoms, long time no see. I do not think that the MK party is in bed with the ANC and the EFF. You have to understand the dynamics. The MK party is a vanity project to Jacob Zuma. Jacob Zuma hates the leadership of the ANC and is diametrically opposed to them. They're not working together. There might be people in the MK party who are spies who came from the ANC working with the ANC in league secretly. That may be possible, but the party itself is not. The EFF, now, as long as Cyril Ramaphosa leads the ANC, the EFF will have no role in the ANC government because Ramaphosa hates Julius Malema and he would never do anything to promote him. Yeah, you're killing your own dream. I'm not killing your dream. 35 from Debbie. Colonel, thank you. I pray these state hospital doctors help my husband, a large heart. Well, I hope so too. There's got to be something they can do. A millwright. Okay, yeah, there's jobs for that here. You work with a lathe. In your opinion, best place to stay, work in America? Oh, come on, man, Burhart. I've answered that question 10 million times this past year. I can't answer that question for you. I don't know what your desires are. I mean, every place you go can be the best place, except New Jersey or California. Now, it depends what you want out of life. Here comes a Drake Mallard. He splashed down in the creek. It depends, if you like the mountains, there's a place to go. If you like beaches, there's a place to go. If you like all seasons, much of the country. If you only like the heat, then it's a place to go. I can't answer that question for you. I don't know what your likes and dislikes are. I tell him he wants to send his daughter there for her master's degree, but now she's at university 20 kilometers. I don't know what we're talking about there. How are kids that went over coping in school? The ones I've talked to in the interviews are all doing very well. In fact, a couple of them are doing better than their classmates because they've already had that level of education. They got put in a year that so they won't fall behind. So and they're actually doing better. I haven't heard anyone tell me they've been bullied on this side. Substitute teachers in Texas making $90 to $120 a day. See, depends where you are. Okay. How do you feel about Brent Bozell moonwalking? I didn't see him moonwalk. What are you talking about? Why do people want to do their GED? You don't have to do a GED unless you're not a high school graduate. Where is this coming from? I don't understand. People keep talking about GEDs. Are you not high school graduates? If you graduate from high school, you don't need a GED. The GED is for people who never finished high school. That's what it's for. But people talk about it as if it's some sort of qualification. You don't want a GED if you have a high school diploma. And Andrea says, I like Sydney Sweeney. So do I. Been almost 15 months and 8 months since interviews, starting to doubt if my wife will never get tickets. 8 months since you did interviews, Daryl. I didn't realize it's been that long. Could you send me your case number in an email and your information? Let me see if I can't get somebody to take a look at that. 8 months is a long time. That's a long time to be waiting. No conspiracies. Other people see very much are different than the government. Yep. So I complete my master's degree in education from the University of the People, which USA accreditation would it be easier? Huh? Okay, your master's degree doesn't matter. Okay, you want to teach school, master's degree isn't the qualification. The coursework is the qualification. And you may have that coursework in your master's degree, you may not. It depends on the state. Again, Borhart, I can't answer that question. What state? You talked about Florida. Go online and look what you have to do for. I can't do that. I'm on my mobile phone. Otherwise, I can just do it on my screen right now and tell you. Go look up what teacher certification requirements are. I can tell you in Ohio, it sucks. I'm not going to spend an extra year and a half going to school and paying for tuition, and my career in the Army would have been delayed by a year and a half. Instead, I went back in the Army. There will be refugees to Mars. Julius Malema. Darna's matric. Can she apply to colleges? Yes. Yes. She's a high school graduate. She can apply for colleges. She'll have to take the ACT or the SAT examination, and she can apply. Absolutely, she can apply to colleges. But you may make sure, find out what state you're going to. I don't know how it works for refugees. I still don't know the answer, but it depends on each state. But you have to be in state, otherwise you pay a lot more. What is Primavera P6? Is that like a pasta? I have no idea what Martin's talking about, getting rid of stuff me tonight. Yeah, you like Sydney jeans. Okay, Daryl. California toured USS Iowa. That was amazing. I don't think FDR was a scumbag. He just didn't have businesses. No, I think it was a scumbag. He was a racist, Brett. I think he was a racist. The stuff he said about Asians and about Japanese and putting them in concentration camps, that was pure racism. And he was credited with being a pro-civil rights. That's nonsense. It was his wife, Eleanor, who was about civil rights. He didn't care about black Americans. In fact, he initially had Social Security set up to deny black Americans a retirement. Yep. Why? Because black Americans worked overwhelmingly in the service industry, which was excluded, and initially, and also in the railroads, which were excluded, and they wound up having their own retirement. Now, he was an unavowed Democratic racist in my book. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry it's difficult, y'all. That's a long time. I didn't realize you've been waiting 8 months. That's a long time. 7 months. That's a while too, Anders. Anders, send me an email with all your information. Yeah, the matric is recognized as a high school diploma in most places. Send me another email, Ian. No, Daryl, that's no. I said it's normal for cases to take 18 months or longer. That's what I said. 18 months or longer. That's how this goes. But this is in country. And we have people now, anecdotally, that are getting seen in a couple months later in the States. So therefore, if that's the case, yours being 7 or 8 months ago sounds like it's a problem, given how some people are coming over now. If we were talking about refugees being processed in Kenya from Somalia or in Uganda from Sudan, and you're talking 7 months, that's not unusual. Maybe you misunderstood the context, or maybe I misunderstood your question. I'm saying your wait is long if you said you were through the interviews and you were approved 7 months, 8 months ago. If you went through interviews and you had an approval letter 8 months ago, something's definitely wrong. But if you were interviewed 8 months ago and you've been in contact since then, they wanted something else, that's different. What is with this unabridged birth certificate? Stop with the unabridged birth certificate. Nobody needs that. All right, people taking off. Why not Florida? I don't like Florida. It's a landfill. Hello from Denver, Annie. Andres says, I'll resend it. Well, Andres, I also have 6,196 unread emails in that email account. So if you want me to look at it, you'll need to send it to me so I get a reminder so I find it somewhere amongst today's 400 or 500 emails. Okay. I'll talk about GED because their high school paper mean nothing. You say that's not true. No, you don't. That's nonsense. It's nonsense. Doesn't mean anything. Medicals a few weeks ago. Miss was being referred for treatment US. She now has a Teams interview. Okay. What is that? Cutman's curse. Okay. You're welcome. Okay. All right. I got to zip through this. Dallas. You can have Dallas. Southampton qualifications had to be cleared. Exactly. The system in order to receive U.S. equivalents. Yep. Emailed you with all my info. Would you please take a look and just give me... Well, I can't take a look at it now, and I'm going back into a secure facility. So I'll look at it when I get a chance. And tonight I've got veteran stuff. So my time will not be my time until midnight tonight. So I can't look at it anytime soon. So don't expect any responses from me from these questions today until maybe Friday night at the earliest, okay? All right, guys, got to go. Be sure to hit the like button. 361 likes. Appreciate it. Thanks for the super chat revenue. And you guys have a good afternoon, good evening, and I'll catch you on Night Owls tonight unless something breaks, okay? Cheers.